Welcome, everyone. The illusion of control is one of the greatest misconceptions we face in life. We spend so much of our energy trying to mold circumstances, relationships, and outcomes to fit our desires, believing that if we just push harder or plan better, we can steer life exactly where we want it to go. Yet the truth is far more profound. Control, as we imagine it, is an illusion. Consider the many aspects of life that we attempt to control. We try to control how others perceive us, how events will unfold, or even how we feel in certain situations. But no matter how meticulously we plan or how much effort we invest, there's always something that defies our expectations, something beyond our grasp. This is because life, in its vast complexity, is a dynamic and unpredictable process, far too intricate for us to manage in totality. When we cling to the illusion of control, we set ourselves up for frustration and disappointment. Life becomes a constant battle of resistance, where we're perpetually at odds with what is actually happening. The more we try to force things, whether it's making someone love us, achieving a goal before it's time, or shaping events to match our desires, the more life resists. It's like trying to hold on to sand. The tighter we squeeze, the more it slips away. Letting go doesn't mean becoming passive or indifferent to life. Rather, it means recognizing that we are not separate from the flow of existence. Life has its own natural course, much like a river following its path. When we surrender to this flow, we realize that things unfold in their own time, often in ways that are far more harmonious than we could have orchestrated through force. By releasing our need for control, we allow life to reveal its beauty and wisdom. We begin to trust the process, knowing that even when things don't go according to our plans, they are still moving in a direction that is aligned with a greater balance. This is where true freedom lies, not in forcing outcomes, but in embracing the unfolding of life without resistance. Think of it this way. Imagine a leaf floating down a stream. The leaf does not fight the current. It flows effortlessly with the water. It moves in perfect harmony with the forces around it, never struggling to control its direction. In contrast, imagine trying to swim upstream, battling the flow at every turn. That's what it feels like to resist life, to cling to the illusion of control. When we let go of this illusion, we become like the leaf. We move with the natural current of life, and in doing so, we experience a profound sense of peace. We no longer fight against the tides of change, nor do we fear the unknown. Instead, we trust that life, in its wisdom, is guiding us exactly where we need to be. Letting go doesn't mean giving up on your desires or aspirations. It means releasing your rigid attachment to how things should happen, and instead opening yourself up to the possibilities of how they could happen. It's about allowing life to surprise you, to take you on paths you never imagined, and to unfold in ways that are often far better than you could have planned. In the end, the illusion of control only leads to tension and suffering. True serenity comes when we release this illusion, when we stop trying to force life to bend to our will and instead allow it to flow naturally. By letting go, we make space for grace, for opportunities, and for the unexpected joys that life has in store. Life becomes not something to be controlled, but something to be experienced in its full richness and wonder. The nature of impermanence is one of the most profound truths that we must come to understand in life. Everything we encounter, every experience, every relationship, every moment is transient. Nothing stays the same forever. Yet despite this fundamental reality, we often find ourselves clinging to the illusion of permanence, hoping to hold on to what we believe will last, even when it is clear that it no longer belongs to us. It is this attachment, this desire to make the fleeting endure, that creates suffering. Impermanence is woven into the fabric of existence. The seasons change, the sun rises and sets, people come into our lives and leave, and we ourselves are constantly evolving. To deny this truth is to deny the very essence of life itself. And yet, so often we resist. We hold on tightly to relationships that have run their course, to possessions that no longer serve us, to identities and beliefs that no longer align with who we are becoming. This clinging is the root of much of our pain. Why do we cling to what is impermanent? The answer lies in our fear of the unknown. The mind craves certainty and stability. It seeks comfort in the familiar, in the things and people it knows. When we hold on to something, whether it's a person, a status, or a situation, we feel a sense of security, however fleeting it may be. Letting go means facing uncertainty, stepping into the unknown, and accepting that we cannot control the outcome. And this, for many, is terrifying, but clinging to what doesn't belong to us, or what has already passed its time, only prolongs our suffering. It is like grasping at a cloud, intangible, fleeting, and always out of reach. The more we try to hold on to it, the more frustrated and disappointed we become. The harder we try to preserve something that is meant to change, the more disconnected we become from the present moment. The truth is, impermanence is not something to be feared. It is, in fact, the very source of life's beauty and depth. Without impermanence, there would be no growth, no change, no evolution. Imagine if nothing ever changed, if relationships, experiences, or seasons were static. Life would lose its vitality and vibrancy. It is the very fact that things are transient, that they rise and fall, that gives them meaning and significance. By accepting the flow of impermanence, we free ourselves from the weight of trying to control or resist change. We begin to live more fully in the present moment, appreciating things as they are, rather than wishing they would stay the same or fearing that they will leave. When we accept that everything is temporary, we cultivate a sense of openness to the natural ebb and flow of life. This acceptance does not mean that we become indifferent or detached from life. Rather, it means that we engage with life fully, knowing that everything is passing and therefore everything is precious. We cherish the moments, the people, and the experiences we encounter, not because we expect them to last forever, but because we understand their impermanence. To live in harmony with the truth of impermanence is to live with grace and ease. It is to recognize that nothing belongs to us. Not people, not possessions, not even our own thoughts or emotions. Everything comes and goes in its own time. When we stop clinging to what is not meant to stay, when we cling to what doesn't belong to us, it's like building a dam in this river. The water, life's energy, begins to stagnate, creating tension and pressure. But when we release our grip and allow the river to flow freely, we become part of that flow. We move effortlessly with life, in harmony with its natural currents. And in doing so, we open ourselves to the endless possibilities that life has to offer. Clinging to what doesn't choose you also goes against the very nature of existence. Life is constantly changing, evolving, and growing. Nothing stays the same forever. And this impermanence is part of life's beauty. When we try to force something to remain in our lives when it no longer belongs, we are fighting against this natural law of change. We are resisting the very essence of life's unfolding, and as a result, we create suffering for ourselves. Letting go, on the other hand, is an act of trust. It is an acknowledgement that we are part of a larger interconnected whole, and that life is always moving in a direction that is ultimately for our growth and well-being. When we let go of what doesn't choose us, we are not losing anything. Rather, we are making space for new things to enter our lives, things that are aligned with who we are now, things that are meant to help us grow and evolve. To release what doesn't belong to us is to trust in life's wisdom. It is to understand that life is always in motion, always changing, and that by flowing with this change, we are in harmony with the greater rhythm of existence. This doesn't mean that letting go is easy. It can be difficult to release attachments, especially when they have been a significant part of our lives. But by clinging to what doesn't choose us, we only prolong the inevitable. We create unnecessary suffering by resisting the very flow of life that is guiding us towards something new. When we release the things that are no longer in alignment with us, we open ourselves to the interconnected dance of life. We become participants in the natural flow of existence, moving in harmony with the people, experiences, and opportunities that are meant for us. We stop fighting against life and start flowing with it, trusting that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. In this way, letting go is not about giving up or losing something. It is about trusting that life knows what it is doing. It is about recognizing that we are part of this vast, interconnected web of existence, and that by releasing what no longer serves us, we are aligning ourselves with the greater flow of life. When we let go of what doesn't choose us, we create space for what is meant to be in our lives, something that will help us grow, evolve, and experience